Remember when hip-hop was our history teacher? The culture's original storytellers, the MCs, weren't just rhyming over beats. They were dropping knowledge, painting vivid pictures of our reality, our struggles, and our heritage. This wasn't just music. It was a movement, a voice for the voiceless, a classroom on the streets. But somewhere along the way, the syllabus changed. The lessons got lost. Today, we're going to talk about the evolution of hip-hop from conscious to commercial and explore why the music that once educated and uplifted us took such a dramatic turn. Let's rewind to the golden age. Think about artists like KRS-One, the teacher. His lyrics weren't just clever wordplay. They were lectures on Black history, philosophy, and self-awareness. He told us, "You must learn," and we did. We learned about our past to understand our present. Then you had groups like X-Clan with their powerful Afrocentric messages decked out in Anks and African medallions. They weren't just rapping. They were building a nation, instilling pride and a sense of identity. Their music was a call to consciousness, urging us to connect with our roots. And who could forget the poor, righteous teachers? Their name says it all. Blended 5% Nation teachings with razor-sharp lyricism, tackling complex social and political issues. They made you think. They made you question the world around you. This was the essence of early hip-hop. It was a tool for empowerment. Artists like Public Enemy, A Tribe Called Quest, and De La Soul created entire worlds with their music. Worlds where being smart, aware, and different was celebrated. The beats were innovative, the rhymes were intricate, and the message was always front and center. It was music that fed the mind and the soul. So what happened? How did we go from Fight the Power to songs that felt more like commercials for a lifestyle most of us could never afford? The shift was gradual, but it was seismic. As hip-hop's popularity exploded, record companies saw dollar signs. They realized that controversy sells, and a new subgenre, gangsta rap, was born. Now, let's be clear. Early gangsta rap, pioneered by artists like NWA, was also a form of social commentary. It was a raw, unfiltered look at the brutal realities of inner-city life, police brutality, and systemic neglect. It was shocking, it was provocative, and it was necessary. It was the news report from the front lines that you wouldn't see on TV. But the corporate machine is designed to do one thing: find what works and replicate it for maximum profit. The executives cherry-picked the most marketable elements of gangsta rap to violence, the danger, the outlaw persona, and stripped away a lot of the underlying social critique. The focus shifted from why things were happening to just a glorification of the complex narratives by artists like Ice Cube and Tupac, who could give you a party anthem on one track and a heart-wrenching story about poverty on the next, were flattened. The record labels started pushing a formula. They created a caricature of the gangster, and it sold millions. Suddenly, it seemed like every rapper had to fit this mold to get a record deal. The diversity of voices and perspectives that defined early hip-hop began to shrink. The message of community and upliftment was replaced by hyper-individualism and materialism. It was no longer about we. It was all about me, my cars, my money, my conquests. The authenticity that was the genre's lifeblood was being diluted. Then came the next phase of this transformation, the hypersexualization of the music. It's not that sexuality was absent from early hip-hop, but it was often just one part of a much larger human story. But as the 90s bled into the 2000s, it became the main event. Music videos became almost indistinguishable from one another, filled with predictable imagery and objectification. Lyrical content devolved, with complex storytelling and clever metaphors being replaced by repetitive, often degrading hooks about partying and promiscuity. The poetry was gone, replaced by a simple, easy-to-digest, and often mindless product. The industry realized that this formula was even more profitable. It was less controversial than gangsta rap, easier to market globally, And it created a perfect synergy with fashion, alcohol, and luxury brands. Hip-hop wasn't just music anymore. It was a vehicle to sell a fantasy. And in this fantasy, women were often reduced to props, and the measure of a man was his wealth and his conquests. The conscious messages of self-respect, knowledge, and community were buried under layers of champagne, glitter, and manufactured personas. Many of us who grew up on the golden age felt lost. It felt like the culture had been hijacked, sold to the highest bidder. The radio and music television channels were flooded with this new sound, and it became harder and harder to find the artists who were still trying to carry the torch of conscious hip-hop. They was still there, of course, bubbling in the underground, but they weren't getting the big promotional push from the major labels. The industry had decided what real hip-hop was, and it was a far cry from its origins. It's easy to blame the record companies, and they certainly deserve a huge part of it. They prioritized profit over artistry, trends over substance. But we also have to look at the role of the audience. The market responds to demand. As consumers, we voted with our streams, our downloads, and our concert tickets. The catchy, simplistic, party-focused music was easy to consume. It didn't require you to think deeply or confront uncomfortable truths. It was background music for the club, for the gym, for the car. And for a while, that's what a large part of the audience wanted. But the spirit of hip-hop is resilient. It can't be suppressed forever. Just when it seemed like the art form was completely lost to commercialism, a new generation of artists emerged. Artists who were students of the game, who grew up on the greats and understood the culture's true power, and they started a renaissance. Artists like Kendrick Lamar. When Good Kid, M.A.A.D. City dropped, it was like a breath of fresh air. K was an artist with a major label deal who was creating a concept album with a deep, somatic narrative, exploring a complex coming-of-age story with incredible lyrical skill. He proved that you could be commercially successful without sacrificing your artistic integrity. His album To Pimp a Butterfly was even more ambitious, a dense, jazz-infused masterpiece tackling race, depression, and the black experience in America. He wasn't just making songs. He was writing novels, and he's not alone. Artists like J. Cole built a massive, loyal following by speaking directly to his audience about their shared anxieties, dreams, and struggles. He champions a message of self-reliance and authenticity. You have artists like Rhapsody, who carries the torch of MCs like Lauryn Hill with her incredible lyrical ability and powerful, woman-centered narratives. And you can't forget Chance the Rapper, who built an empire on joyful, gospel-infused, independent music. These artists, and many others, are a return to form. They are using their platform to educate, to inspire, and to tell the nuanced, complicated stories of their communities. They are reminding us that hip-hop can be both popular and profound. They're proving that the audience is hungry for more than just catchy hooks and mindless repetition. We want substance. We want stories. We want to feel something. The internet and streaming have also played a huge role in this shift. Artists are no longer solely dependent on record labels and radio stations to reach their audience. They can connect directly with fans, build their own communities, and distribute their music on their own terms. This has democratized the industry and allowed a wider range of voices to be heard. The gatekeepers have lost some of their power. So, where does that leave us? Hip-hop is in a fascinating place. The commercial, formulaic crap is still out there, and it's probably not going away. But the conscious, storytelling-driven, artistic side of the culture is thriving once again. It's no longer a battle of mainstream versus underground. It's all coexisting in the same digital space. It's up to us, the listeners, to choose what we amplify. We have the power to support the artists who are pushing the culture forward, the ones who are using this powerful art form for its original purpose, to teach, to inspire, and to be the voice of a generation. The soul of hip-hop was never truly lost. It was just waiting for us to listen closely again. Thanks for watching. What are your thoughts on the state of hip-hop today? Who are some of the artists you think are carrying the torch? Let me know in the comments, okay? And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe for more deep dives into the culture we love. Peace.